All right, now you should be able to hear me. Child, you know how the technology works and does whatever it wants to do. Light and progress, everybody. Today is January 20th. Dear God in heaven. It is both Martin Luther King Day. And in addition to that, this was the day of the inauguration. So I thought that it was very important to sort of look into this energy, get clear about what we have showing up in this year moving forward, because everything is intentional. Everything. The universe, shall I say, is intentional. Whether we accept that, like that, or not, everything is intentional. So go ahead and like, comment, share, do all of the things while we dive into what we have to talk about today. So, as per the title, why Donald Trump had to be president. In addition to that, we're going to look into this year of 9. We're going to look into the energies of each of the months. We're going to be looking at the warnings for this year, tackling the energy of endings, and just the overall numbers. So you can get your journal, okay? Get your something to drink. I have my drink here. It's my water with some hibiscus herb in here and some green tea. So get your drink, get whatever you need to do, so we could dive and look at this. So if we just begin at the beginning, this is a year of 9. In order to accomplish that, we look at the universal year. So universal year 9. And so we take 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. And that gives us 9. So one of the things that, as we are diving into the study of numerology, and utilizing numerology, what is it? I'm sure you've heard this alongside the astrological conversations. I'm sure you've heard the angel numbers and things like that. Numerology is essentially the study of numbers and their significance, but also spiritual and energetic significance. So the good thing is, numerology is a tool that you can use alongside your tarot, alongside your oracle, alongside any of your divinatory work, even alongside your astrology. So what are the principles of numerology? Number 1 is the belief that numbers have an energetic vibration. Okay, that each number carries its own frequencies, its own qualities. Okay, that's the first core understanding and belief. The second core understanding and belief is that everything, your words, names, birth dates, all or any personal data can be reduced to numbers, meaning that it can be translated into numerical values. All right. And when we get those numerical values, we can interpret those values and understand the energy and what it is that's going on. Yes, so that means that what you name your children matters, because that is an energy that is associated with them and will be attached to them. What you are named matters and also has an energetic effect on you and how you show up, how you express, and what you experience in this world. Okay, so the names matter. The name of your business, okay, the name of your partner, all of that energy matters, and it can be interpreted. The third principle is that numbers influence life patterns. There's a belief in a universal mathematics. You know, the old folks say, um, people lie, but the numbers don't. So there is this understanding that numerology, that numbers, that there's a mathematics to the universe, and thus life follows in that pattern. You will find numerology at the core of a lot of ancient traditions. You will find numerology at the core of Ifa and in the divination, the Odu, so many different religions and spiritual practices that incorporate numerology, okay, whether you know it or not. Now, there are different types of numerology. You have Pythagorean numerology, which is what I practice. You also have Chinese numerology. I think it's Chaldean numerology. There's a lot of different numerological practices, okay? But I am a Pythagorean numerologist. That's what I linger in. And the reason is that Pythagoras attributes a number to each letter, okay? Also, if you look at some of the other practices, some exclude vowels and they're focused on the vibration of actually speaking and saying the word, or the letter or the vowel or whatever. But I just find that to be different depending upon like who's speaking, right? That energy changes depending upon what culture, what dialect, whatever you have. So Pythagorean numerology is where I stand and reside. And so Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher and mathematician. So before y'all go and be like, oh, it's the Greeks and everything like that, you also have to look into the original peoples that occupied that area. And you will be very surprised. I was going to say surprised because I was thinking shocked and surprised. You'll be very surprised and shocked by what those original peoples were described to look like. In addition to that, just like Pythagoras, a lot of folks traveled to Egypt and studied in Africa and adopted and utilized African universal mathematics for what it is that we know. And, they take it and they become famous for it. So, Pythagoras for Pythagorean theorem, where that is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, we learned that in algebra. Okay, we learned it in geometry. Okay, so he actually studied for 22 years, which is the master number. We'll talk about that later. 22 years with priests in Egypt. And it is in that time that he learned their ancient sciences and wisdoms and really started to coalesce what we understand now as that mathematics. So you're like, what am I going to utilize these numbers for? These numbers mean this. We got the angel numbers. I keep seeing 25, 19, 4, and 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. What is the purpose of this? This does not necessarily correlate directly with the angel numbers. You can certainly interpret it that way, but we're not really looking at it in that way. But what you can use numerology for, you can certainly use it for your own personal growth, your own personal discovery, to understand your numerological landscape, your personality, your destiny, your life path, your challenges, your addictions, your talents, your blessings, your spiritual gifts. It's a lot that can be uncovered utilizing your numbers. I'll do a whole nother video on that another day. You can also use it for timing. You can use it for planning. You can use it to look at your personal year cycles. You can use it to examine your important life phases. You can use it in your relationships, right? Compatibility, right? Understanding your partner better, understanding your children better, understanding your parents better, right? You could even use it for career and business, which All of these wealthy and rich folks who try to act all staunch and religious, they have numerologists. They have astrologers. They got practitioners, spiritualists, occultists, hoodoo practitioners, voodoo priests, uh, um, what is it, Oluwus and Ianifas. They use all that. That's the reason why they know when to invest in the stock at this time, when to do this at this time and that time, because they utilize this. You see, we were focused on literacy, right? As far as learning to read, when we should have been paying attention to how to calculate. Okay. But that was already a part of our cultural understanding and a part of our wisdom as indigenous African people. Okay. So that's the facts and that's the truth. Of course, the numbers you can use for spiritual growth. You can understand events, places. You can use for decision making, healing, for global insight, all of that. So numerology is something that is extremely useful. It has been life-changing for my clients. It has been life-changing for my family. It's been life-changing for me. And so I don't know if I have found a system or practice that was more accurate outside of my own tapping into spirit myself. So that's that. So let's look into the energy of this year. Like I said, it's 2025. So that's 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. All right. And that's going to give us 9. The same way you can do that with whatever year and look at the universal energy of that year. So that's going to tell us the things that we're going to see across the world, on the world landscape. Okay. So when we talk about the energy of 9 or the year, universal year of 9, we got to understand that the numbers are measured 1 through 9, and then it starts back at 1. It is only when you have the master numbers in the event that a calculation comes to 11, okay, comes to 22, or comes to 33. Okay, all of those are master numbers. Okay, I'll tap on it a little bit later, and then I'll probably have another video that focuses on that. But the themes and the energy of this number 9 year is completion. It's transformation. It's fulfillment. It's release. It's endings. So that's on the lighter end. The lighter end is completions, tying up your loose ends, right? Resolving long-standing problems, long-standing issues with other people, right? Celebrating your efforts, right? Over the past 9 years. So look at circa 2016, where you were then and where you are now. So we're having complete completions and closures from things and cycles that we've had this past 9 years. Okay. And so what's interesting is it also brings about spiritual awakening. So our intuition is heightened. There's a deeper connection to universal energy. And in that space, we also release the ego-driven pursuits, right? So your ego is not to die. Your ego is to mature, right? So a lot of the things that were focused and centered in an immature ego, we will be releasing that this year. This year signals for the release of that, okay? And because we release that, the immature ego, the selfishness, we then lean into more of a service and purpose-oriented energy. Also, in that, number 9 is the number of the humanitarian. So that is global awareness. This is when you see people come together, people work together. There's so much compassion that comes in this cycle. And the goal is that it will contribute to what we understand as the greater good. Okay? And so then in this, we expand our minds, we expand our perspectives, and we start to get clear about our place, our space in the collective. Now that's on the positive. And as you know, there's a light energy and there's a darker energy. Okay. And positive and negative are subjective. At this point, I just call everything necessary. That's me. On the darker side of the number 9, it's intense endings. It's a level of intensity. So sudden or dramatic endings to your relationships, to situations, to careers. Okay. So what you will find is because this energy is trying to bring an end to things, you can bring about emotional turmoil for yourself, resisting letting go. You can bring and concretize yourself in stagnation by resisting letting go. Also, this year brings an overload of our emotions because it's endings, right? You got to know that grief is amplified in this season. Regret is also amplified in this season. Unresolved pain is surfaced in this season. So we have to be mindful of the old wounds, the unattended hurts, the things we buried alive coming up. Hold on. Let me say that again. The things that we have buried alive coming back up. Because when you buried it, you should have made sure it was dead. Okay. So that also comes up in this energy. This dark energy of 9 is also destructive. Destructive energy, recklessness, escapism, self-sabotage. So what comes in that energy, right? Aggression, right? Self-harm. Drugs, even with this idea of escapism, overindulging in things that will take your mind off of the feeling and being present in this year. So we can't neglect self-care this year because this will put you into an energy of burnout, both spiritually and physically, mentally, and also depression. So you got to take your showers. You got to tend to yourself. You got to have your alone time. You got to have that energy. You know, I thought I'm going to speed through this, good people, but I want you to know that I don't know how long this is going to be, but we're going through a whole bunch of stuff here, but I'm trying to cover this. So we may be here for a while, but I trust that you value the information. Speaking such truth that I want to cry, child. I'm telling you, the truth will make you fall out. Okay? So also, there's unpredictable events. So a lot of the transformation, you see, sometimes when we think about evolution, we think evolution has to come by way of good things. No. Evolution often comes through tragedy, comes through upheaval and turmoil. But evolution is not necessarily negative or positive. It's what is necessary, right? So that's why I'm utilizing that language. It is a necessary change. And guess what? Sometimes things wouldn't have been such an upheaval had you did what you were supposed to do a long time ago. But after this thing done set in here, the spirit, the universe steps in and says, okay, well, this has to go. Has to. This has to change. It has to. So what does that mean? Natural disasters. That means conflicts. That means accidents on a larger scale. that is reflective of clearing the energy. Okay? So I want us to be mindful. I know it may feel grim, but again, positive and negative are subjective. But this energy brings a hot temperedness. This energy is connected to accidents, road rage, danger, weapons. And this is a big one that we've already seen manifest: fires. Okay? Burns, guns, explosions, accidents dealing with technology or metal and machinery, cuts. Okay? That's all in this number 9 energy. So this is not the year for you to be big and bad, driving, cussing people out, yelling at people, honking at people. This is not the year, because this number 9 is not just about bringing hurt, it's bringing an end. So we're not, listen, this is not the year to have conflicts, to fight, to tussle, to not push things there. This is the year to take the high road, okay? Before you ever take another road to put you underneath. And we don't want that, okay? Or you may end up putting somebody else underneath, okay? And now your whole life is ruined. Your family's life is ruined because you decided to puff your chest out. No. I also would like to say that this number 9 energy is also of the energy of the humanitarian, right? I think I said that a little bit earlier, but I want to reemphasize that, because even looking at all of these fires, you're seeing people come together and have to help people in ways that we haven't seen that before. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So now that we got clear on this number 9 energy, why the orange one, the criminal, why the felon, the chief, Donald Trump, had to become the president? So one of the things that I do, I am a system creator. I take something and then I expand it and blow it up. So I said, you can track the numerology for everything. And so I said, well, let me look at the numerology for this country. Because this will tell us more specifically in our space, in our personal things that are directly related to Americans, what we are going to be experiencing this year. So we already know the number 9 energy, but this personal number is going to help us to get clearer about the nuances of what it means to be a citizen of this country. So looking at the United States, now I know everybody's going to be like, there was folks here before, but we're talking about the establishment of the energy of America. This happened July 4th, 1776. Okay? July 4th, 1776. Okay? So this is considered the birthday of America. So we will utilize that number. And so if you look at the birthday number, which is the 4th, you will see that that is the primal energy, the primary energy of the primary energy of this country, that 4 number. Okay, so technically, like I said, America was born on the 4th. And so what does that mean? The number 4 is mathematical. It's logical. It is connected to structures and symmetry. It's connected to foundations. It's connected to order and balance, engineering. and systems. Number 4 is also economical and efficient. Okay. It focuses on wealth building. It focuses on creating sustainable systems. All right. It is methodical. It is process oriented. So very intentional. Everything planned out. Nothing just happens. Conspiracy theorists, enter the chat. Nothing just happens. There's plans in place here within the energy of this country. Okay. There is a focus and execution. All right. Being able to show up and do what needs to be done. Okay. Now, as I said, there's the light side and there's the dark side of this energy. The dark side of this number 4 energy is crude and insensitive. It can be so focused on facts, logic, that it makes no room for emotions and compassion. In other words, toxically hypermasculine, imbalanced energy. Okay? That 4 in the dark energy is also violent. It's destructive. So an unbalanced 4, that focus on order and control can escalate to aggression and brutality. Okay? In addition to that, it's rigid brutality, rigid systems, rigid rules that can become destructive toward the free will, the creativity, the self-expression of the people. That's that authoritarianism, right? Oppressive practices, which we clearly see that in that 4, because it's economical, that means economical greed and exploiting people, overworking people, stripping resources from people without thinking about what are the long-term impacts. Okay? Also, because it's so structured and so foundational, that number 4 energy resist change. They want stuff the good old way that it has always been. In some aspects. In other aspects, they don't. But at the core, they want stuff to be the way that it's always been. Okay? Which, in short, white and superior, white and supremacist. And this is the energy of the country. God bless America, land that I love. This is this country. So the number 4 is also, here it is, associated with TV and radio personalities, which is why the influencers, right, seem to rule and control the trends in the country. We literally have a TV personality that is the president now. Okay? Which also explains why there's such an emphasis placed on how the presidents and things show up in interviews, how they show up on television, because that is a core principle embedded in this country. How you show up in media makes a difference, which is why media is so powerful and has been so powerful since the origination of this country. Okay? So it is also the number of occultist. Conspiracy theories, enter the chat. The occultists are the spiritualists, are the astrologists, are the numerologists, are the witches. Okay? All of that. That's the occultist. Okay? I'm an occultist, technically. And everyone that's watching this more than likely is an occultist as well. but is also of mathematicians, of accountants, right? Of numbers, which is why if you aren't utilizing numerology, hey, you're in America, you better get to it. So the year 1776 reduces to a number 3. So we were in a universal year 3 that year. So this is the number of self-expression and ambition, which is the whole reason why they separated from Britain and all that, the freedom and speaking their mind. But what's so interesting is that that year truly rules over, that number 3 energy rules over churches, temples, and government buildings, which is why that is the perfect year to leave an establishment in pursuit of religious freedom, dealing with religious persecution, and establishing a whole country based upon religious principles and religious values. Okay? We're getting some education today. If y'all thought that y'all was clicking on this thing and wasn't learning, think again. We're getting the education today. Okay? So it's the perfect year for America to establish itself. Now, additionally, you can take the month, the day, and the year and look at America's life path number. That's how you calculate it, right? Life path number is your month, your day, and the year, okay? So I consider your birthday number your primary life path number, which is the day you were born. So America, in this case, the 4th. And then your traditional life path number as your secondary life path number that adds nuances to your birthday number, which would be your primary. I also want to tell you that I reserve the right to change my mind. So you may see me talk about this again 5 years later, and I may be saying something updated. Okay, but this is how I understand it and what I do now. In addition to that, so we look 7, which is July, plus 4, the 4th, plus 1776. When you add that up and continue adding and reducing to a single digit, it brings us to the number 5. This represents dramatic change, freedom, and opportunism. Also, self-indulgence and vulgarity, okay? But that's why that is a perfect date to start the United States of America within the energy of 4, which is about the foundations and the establishment, and that secondary number 5, which is about freedom and opportunity, the land of opportunity. So the very energy, the name, the energy, the establishing of this country is based in a number 4 and a number 5 energy naturally. So you have to align in some way with that number 4 to find yourself in positions of power here in this country, to find yourself in alignment here in this country. Okay? So the combination of that energy clearly defines what we understand as America today. So now that we got that understanding, okay, we're going to take a look at this year, 2025. So in order to calculate a personal year, you would take the month you were born, the day you were born, and add it to the year you want to look at. So I did it with America. 7 plus 4 plus 2025. Now this is interesting, y'all, because this energy comes to a master number 11. America's in a master number 11. I need you to hold on to that piece of information. Master number 11 carries strong spiritual and inspirational energy. Master number 11 encourages our growth. It's enlightenment energy, and it is leadership on a high level. So if we look at the light side of number 11, I said the spiritual leadership. There's going to be an emphasis on that. Okay. So this would be a year of for you to step up as a spiritual leader in your family, as a spiritual leader in your community. If that is what you do, you will find that this year there'll be a heavy focus, a heavy emphasis on the spiritual leaders. Okay. In addition to that, that master number 11 brings about creative genius. So this is a year, an energy where innovation comes to the forefront, where unique ideas come to the forefront, where the artists really do their big one this year. And that comes to the forefront. 11 means also, because it's all that spiritual energy, this is a connection to the universe, a connection to God, a connection to higher consciousness, a connection to spirit. So you are going to find that this year is going to have a whole bunch of spooky shit going on. Okay, it's going to have a lot of spiritual things happening, spiritual reports. The land will be energized and attuned to a whole nother spiritual energy this year. So if you are in the States, prepare for the energetic and spiritual upgrades. Now we get to the darker side. Because this energy is so strong, because this energy is so spiritual and divine, this awakening. A lot of times people signify their awakening periods as feeling traumatic. It can be overwhelmingly intense. A high energy of 11 can lead to anxiety, lead to stress, lead to emotional and mental instability if we don't manage it correctly. This also brings about self-doubt and fear. This also brings about escapism. This also brings about confusion. Again, in the mind, it's so high level, so high thinking, so cerebral that it also brings a lot of indecisiveness. Okay, so we have to be very, very clear about this. So anytime, y'all, that America has been in a master number 11, grand inspiration occurs, amazing innovations occur, spiritual leadership steps to the forefront anytime. And again, we are in a universal number 9 in the universe. So if you even look at things that have happened in America underneath a number 9 year, baby, hold on. Shall I say some important dates? Let me go ahead and bring up some important dates when America was in this number 9 energy. Give me one quick second. Ooh, child. Let me see. So when we were underneath, this universal 9 energy, 1782, we had the end of the Revolutionary War. 1863, we had the Emancipation Proclamation. 1917, we have United States entering into World War I. We have D-Day, okay, which was the turning point, endings in World War II, which led to the defeat of the Nazis. We had the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. We had the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. Okay, in 2007, that was a huge technological year, but that was also a global financial crisis in 2007. But that year, that's when Apple released the iPhone. Okay, so technology was revolutionary. And 2016, That was the year that Donald Trump was elected president the first time. So he was elected president in a number 9 year. Okay? And so you see where I'm going with this. In 2008, when Barack Obama was elected, we were underneath a number 1 universal year. 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 comes to 10, which brings us to 1. That's the energy of new beginning. America at that time, utilizing the 7 plus 4 plus 2025. Let's calculate it. Excuse me, plus 2008 comes to 2019, which brings us to 12, which reduces to 3. Okay? So when we look at that number, okay, we look at that that number 3 number that year, a 3 personal year for America. In order to find out the energy of the month, you take the personal year number and add it to the month you want to look at. So then you would add 3 plus 11 because that's the month of voting. 3 plus 11 gives us 14, which reduces to 5, which is the number of great change, dramatic change, which means that whoever was going to be the president in that year had to be in alignment with dramatic change, had to be a dramatic shift from who it has been before. Barack Obama, a Black man who symbolized hope, who symbolized optimism, who put that language of change in the campaign. And he also aligned with that number 3 energy, right? He aligned with that number 3 personal year that America was in, which number 3 is popular, sociable, charming. So whoever was going to be the president had to align with that energy. Tracking? So whoever the white dude wasn't going to work. So because this year we're in 2025, which puts America in a master number 11 year, Donald Trump was born on 6/14. We do 6 plus 14 plus 2025. We get 2045. 2 plus 4 plus 5 gives us a master number 11. So Donald Trump's personal year and America's personal year was directly in alignment, directly in tandem. So if we look at Kamala Harris, who was born October, which is October 20th, and then we add that to this year. I'm sorry. Yeah, 10 plus 20 plus 2025, 10 and 2. We get 2055. And so we do 2 plus 5 plus 5. That gives us a 12, which reduces to 3. That's not in the energy of this year. That is out of alignment with this year. So let's look back last year. 10, we're doing Kamala Harris's number. 10 plus 20 plus 2024. This brings us to 2054. 2 plus 5 plus 4. Master number 11. That was last year, which was out of alignment with the energy that America was in at the time of voting. She was in a master number 11. What was Donald Trump in last year? 6 plus 4 plus 2024 brings us to 2034. So we have, wait, hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry, 614 plus 2024. 8, so we get 2044. So you do 2 plus 4 plus 4. That brings us to a 10. That brings us to a 1. It brings us to a 1 energy. Number 1 is the number of the executive, of the leader, of the president. So Kamala Harris's role, Kamala Harris's energy last year was that of the master number 11, the inspiration, to get the people stirred up, to get them inspired, okay, to get the people awakened, for us to see us do things that we haven't done prior. And that's exactly what she did. But she was not in a personal year that would have aligned her with the energy of this country. That's the numbers. So the role of the energy based upon the numbers was not to win that year. The role was to enlighten and spark the possibilities. So when Donald Trump gets his ass up out of here, 4 years from now, we would be in 2029. 4, so 2 plus 2 plus 9 will give us 13, which puts us in a number 4 energy again. Okay? 4 plus 1, because we want to look at January, will give us a number 5, personal month. So whoever will be sworn in will be someone who is drastically different. Drastically different, but exhibits the energy of the 4. That is direct, that is foundational, that is organized, that is very business, very on it, in that 4 energy. But it will have to be somebody different. If we look at Donald Trump's numbers for 2029, we get 5 plus 9, which puts us into a number 5. So he will also be undergoing some drastic and dramatic changes. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So then let's then look at America. 7 plus 4 plus 2029. 6. We will be in a number 6 energy, which means that the year before, where the voting will be done, we will be in a number 5 energy, which is dramatic change. So that tells me that the person that's going to win has to be significantly different than who it is that we had before. Not only that, with that number 6 emphasis that focus on the home and family, they have to be someone who is family oriented, who feels like they care about everybody, okay, that has a maternal or paternal energy, but heavy on the family oriented, someone that you could invite into your home for dinner. They have to give that energy or connect all with the energy of 6. And that aligning with that energy, putting the family and the home at the forefront of their messages, so forth and so on, will lead them into that seat. And hopefully their own personal numbers will also, well, it will have to be in direct alignment with that. So when we get into that, we got to do the numerology for the candidates and see who lines up. And you can bet your bottom dollar that's how it's going to go. So as I stated at the beginning, which if I didn't, I'm stating it now. Just because I understand all of this energy don't mean that I care anything about Donald Trump. Doesn't mean at all that I'm in support of anything Donald Trump related, because I ain't and I'm not. However, as a spiritualist, looking at these numbers, I can't help but think this double master number 11 energy between America and the presidency and this number 9 universal energy will be an indicator of great enlightenment for our country. Revelations, spiritual revelations, both 9 and 11 are associated with revelation and awakening and breakthroughs. And so what I want you to focus on is this. The number 11 energy, the awakening, the revelation, the number 9 universal energy, endings, right? Closures, but also fires, all of that. Is there a world, now hear me out, where because of the fires that have decimated a lot of California, a lot of LA, where a lot of the wealthy, rich, untouchable folks are now suffering and are in the same situation as the Black and Hispanic and people of color, POC folk, they're in the same position. Insurances are pulling out funds. They're not investing, they're not supporting, they're not helping from everybody that's over there. And so these elites are having a colored folk experience. And so is there a world where this energy is embarking on a great change in the consciousness of the country? Because the elites are having to learn that they are not any different than those who are not the elites. Both of y'all are homeless now. Both of y'all are experiencing the effects of the systems that the elite created that allows for insurances to target you based on factors that you can't control. So the elites are having to experience this. So that's why I believe there is a greater unraveling and enlightenment that's happening here. Because I'm thinking that these elites are going to start to realize that the systems that they created, just like evil does, it all folds in on itself. It all falls in on itself. And I think that's what's happening. And hopefully, if you notice, other countries that America has talked about, are flying planes with water, sending resources, funds, and things to help out. That's that humanitarian, that's that global energy. Not only to mention that the month of January, because it's a number 9 year, to find the energy of the month, you add the number of the month. Comes to a 10, comes to a number 1. If you look at health related things connected to the number 1 energy, lung health, mental exhaustion, stress, all of that is at the forefront. And so you directly see how the fires have begat lung issues, changed the air quality, so forth and so on. I say that to say yet again, the numbers don't lie. People do. Presidents do. But the numbers don't lie. So we can take a breath. Let me sip my drink and allow us to now transition into a brief overview of this year and the months therein. Okay, I'm going to be going at rapid speed. So pay attention, rewind later. January, which is going to be a universal month 1, will be of the energy 1, which on the positive, it's fresh starts, it's leadership, it's independence, it's initiating new goals. So as cliche as it is to have your New Year's resolution, this is actually the universal year for you to do that, for you to set your goals, make new commitments, so forth and so on. On the negative of that 1 energy, we got to be mindful of impatience. We got to be mindful of selfishness. We got to be mindful of ego issues, ego clashes, okay? Situations that reveal what your ego needs and that it needs to grow and needs to mature, okay? So you want to make sure that before you rush into some new ventures, you have resolved the past problems or you understood why it wasn't successful before. So you don't start something and have unresolved baggage that will lead to failures later. Okay, that's January. February, universally, is a number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just works just like that, child. The positives of the number 2 is intuitive. It's spiritual. It's heightened. But guess what? 9 plus 1 is 10. 9 plus 2 is 11. So February is the month to do the rituals, to tap in, to see some shit. February is going to be the month where a whole bunch of spiritual shit start going on. February is going to be a month where you got to be on point with your affirmations. Okay, you want to pay attention to the moon. You want to pay attention to all the stuff that's going on in February, because we will be in a master number 11 month in a country that is in a master number 11 year. Okay, so you want to be tapped in come February. Be mindful of overwhelm, of being hypersensitive to energy. Okay, and also that number 211, that split energy, indecisiveness. So watch out for the emotional overload. Okay, watch out for anxiety and burnout. Be mindful, take care of yourself. And also be mindful of confusion that is birthed from conflicting inner desires versus external expectations. So be mindful of the inner desires and what shows up externally, and you being like, this is not what I think it should be. Be mindful of that conflict. And instead of freaking out, go deeper and figure out what's going on. Okay? March will be a number 3. March will be in alignment with creativity, with communication, with joy, with social engagement. But communication, right? I don't know if got any retrogrades. Be mindful of technology. Be mindful of how you communicate, what it is that you say, right? That's the time to make the phone calls, to have the conversations. The negative energy of that is being superficial, distracted, and avoiding keeping things fun and flirty, because number 3 is a fun, flirty, light, social light energy. Be mindful of avoiding deep conversations and hard conversations and emotional work, because it's going to be easier to lead in that direction. Okay? Focus on that which gives you substance, not just temporary pleasure. April will be in a number 4. Number 4 is practicality, it's stability. It is hardworking, it is honesty, it is punctual, it's methodical, it is building a foundation for the future. So use that 4-month, use April as a month to re-examine your goals for this year. Okay, and check back in. If anything shift, goals for next year, goals for the future, allow it to shift. Okay, and make the updates and make the adjustments. Okay, you want to resist the urge to hold on to old structures. So be prepared to be challenged with the things that you have traditionally believed in. Be prepared to unearth some beliefs that you have that the spirit, that the universe is urging you to release. Okay? No old routines because you don't like change. That's not the vibe. That puts you in the negative side of that number 4 energy. May brings us to a number 5. That's the change. Positive is that it's adventurous. Take risk that month. It's freedom centered. It's adaptable. It's embracing of change. It's learning to navigate with change. On the negative side, it's chaotic. It's scattered. It's impulsive. It's restless. It's all over the damn place. So you want to be very mindful to stay focused. Don't make rash decisions because you're a thrill seeker. And this whole everybody gonna be seeking a thrill. Okay? You can be free, but an unchecked freedom is destructive. There's a difference between being free and being reckless. So you still have to be present in the body. Still checking in with your goals. You know, can't get out of control. Okay? June brings us to a number 6 energy. That's the family. That's the harmony. That's the love. That's nurturing relationships in June. Okay? Be mindful of taking on family responsibilities. Be mindful of doing too much for everybody else. Okay? Be mindful of codependency. Be mindful of guilt tripping or doing things out of guilt. Very mindful of that. And also, if your self-care goes down in June, you will go down too. So get your self-care together. Also, this just dropped in my spirit. Some of y'all have resentment towards your children because you don't make time for you to be well. Some of y'all got resentment towards your family because you keep sacrificing yourself for them. Doing something out of detriment or doing something that causes detriment to you is not love. That's sacrifice. Doing something for someone else that causes and brings detriment to you is not love. That is sacrifice. That is being self-sacrificial. And you wear yourself down, you sure can't help. Then you build up a resentment toward the person, making them responsible for the hurt and harm you have caused yourself. That's not cute. And you don't get any brownie points. because you are, oh my God, just go to the limit and to the wall for my family. You going through the wall. And now the limit and the wall are on top of you. That's not how that works. Be mindful of that. Okay, Spirit, you got to finish. July will put you in a number 7 energy. 7 is highly spiritual, highly self-centered, not selfish, self-centered. Okay, self-centered, not selfish. Okay, it's introspective. It is looking internal to see what is going on, what's happening, what am I feeling, right? It is truth seeking. It is also so spiritually centered because it is rooted in spiritual growth and development. Be careful though, because you get that hermit energy and you will be isolated. You'll be overthinking. You'll be an escapist trying to get away, or you'll be hyper fault finding, hypercritical. Okay. So don't withdraw too much from other people. Solitude is valuable until it turns into isolation. And then your fears go up through the roof. Okay. Also, spend more time analyzing self than overanalyzing situations. Because then you'll overanalyze so much, you'll be paralyzed in your decision making. All right? That's July. We look at August. The only important month this whole year. The number and the energy of August is 8. So this is a year of your personal power, baby. That's a year, a month of your personal power, a month of your financial goals, of manifestation, of ambition. That means with all this money and this finance energy, there also can come issue with money too. There also can come huge financial shifts in the country. So let's be very clear about that. Mind you, because this is the universal year and the universal month we're looking at, this is something that's going to happen across the states. So be mindful of that. Okay. Also be mindful in that personal, in the April month of illnesses coming to the forefront, or shall I say, normally the 4 brings about health issues that are hard to diagnose at the beginning. But I think sometimes we could have some of that, but this 9 year is more so accidents and stuff. So be mindful and look out for some strange occurrences and just strange stuff going on. Okay. And there's a reason why we can fight against it and make sure we're safe. We'll talk about that at the end. So with that number 8 energy in August, be mindful of greed, of power struggles, okay, of being too materially focused, okay? So that's going to show up out here in the world, which is why you don't need to be getting into it about money. You don't need to play with nobody's money, because this number 9 energy is dangerous. So that means people will check you about their money, or you will get the energy or the feeling to run up on somebody about your money. Don't do that, because then I'm being here shaking rocks to get you out of prison. Okay? Or to try to conjure you up from the dead. And I don't want to be doing that. Okay. Don't make no decision in August without thinking about the long-term goals. Okay? September, number 9 energy. Transformation. So we're in a number 9 year. September's going to be a number 9 month. So that month is going to be a hyper 9 energy. It will be intensified. It will be double. So we really got to be careful of the release. We really got to be careful of making sure that we're covered, we're protected, because everything that we talked about earlier in the number 9 is going to be intensified in September. So the positive, that's completion. That's heightened spiritual awareness. That is release. Negative, that's grief. That's resistance. So the stronghold is going to be heavy in September. So because the energy can be heavy, don't you sit up here and lay up in your bed all week depressed. Don't you lay up in the floor. Don't you keep it dark in your house. Open up them blinds. Okay, get in that shower. Do your self-care practice. Keep the energy light and airy, okay? Because naturally we're transitioning into the fall, which brings about that winter blues, right? That depression. The seasons start to change. Ooh. October, it brings us back to a number one energy, okay? October brings us back to a number one, which also is that energy of a new start, of individuality, of leadership, of just new opportunities, new seeds planted. Okay, so get ready to replan, remake yourself, and prepare for 2026 starting October. Don't wait till December to start planning and manifesting. You want to start that in that number one energy in October, okay, because that's going to bring us to that. So you got to be mindful. Number one, ego, again, and number 9 energy, where we got weapons and dangers and guns and fires and stuff. Get that ego in check. Don't be tussling with people. Don't cuss them out that much. This ain't the year for that. Don't let the immature ego drive. Okay. Be mindful of impulsiveness. Okay. Be mindful of neglecting collective needs. So the needs of your family, the needs of your partners, the needs of your friends, because that's going to be in that number one personal month. Universal month. November, we do 9 plus 11. That comes to 10 and 1. That comes to another master number 11. So we already know what that master number 11 energy is in a number 11 month. But I also tell you, be mindful of that number 9 energy coming back strong in November, because originally November, Nov, that actually originally meant 9. Okay, so be very mindful of that energy coming back in November. But also let's look at the energy of number 2 as well in November. So that's cooperation, right? That is balance. That is emotional awareness. So be mindful of being over dependent, being too passive, and being difficult in your decision making. And don't let other people's opinion override your intuition in November. Don't let that happen. All year, in fact, don't let people's opinions override your intuition. December brings us to a number 3 energy, which speaks of joy, gratitude, expression, okay, and celebrating journeys. Okay, so then you want to be mindful of drinking too much, partying too much, overindulging, avoiding, again, deeper work, because you want to keep stuff fun and light. Okay, and also being emotionally drained. Okay, because that would also bring about a lot of emotional exhaustion. Okay, so reflect deeply rather than getting lost in celebrations and in distractions and extracurricular activities. Okay, don't gloss your lessons over. Make sure that you are still, because we transition to a new year after December. So make sure that you are still in favor of what you learned over the temporary pleasures. Okay, so that's the scope of this year, the months of this year, universally. If you want to look at your personal month, then you need a book session and we can look into that. Or you can do it yourself. But that's the universal year. So this will be some energy that will be affecting us because we are in this universe, and our country, our state, our city, our world. All right. So my biggest thing, it don't matter where I go, what I am, I'm going to be hoodoo, root worker, conjure, spiritualist. So the key this month, this year, is protection. That's your number one workings that you need to be doing. Protection and release. Clearing, cutting, cord cutting, burning letters. All of that, that's what you need to be doing. You got to protect your mind. You got to protect your body. You got to protect your spirit. That means when we talk about protecting the mind is the center of your thoughts. It's the center of your emotions. It's the center of your decisions. I say emotions because we talk about how we interpret and process that brings about a response or a reaction. Okay, that's why I said the mind with the emotions. So protecting your mind means you got to make sure the boundaries are clear this year. You got to make sure that we nurture clarity this year. We got to make sure that you are maintaining your focus this year. So first thing we got to do is be mindful of who and what we're listening to, who and what ideas that we are downloading and taking in and operating in. Okay. Toxic media. You know this media game is finna be crazy with Donald Trump in the White House. We already know this. Reduce your exposure to toxic media, to toxic people, to toxic environments. Don't be all in the depths of the gossip because that's negative energy. Curate your social media feeds. Particularly type in and search certain things so that the algorithm can show you positive things, show you things that are in alignment with your goal for yourself. Okay? Or your goals for yourself. Prioritize content, TV shows that are uplifting to you. All right? That's educational. That is progressing you. All right? Protect your mind. Also, guess what that means? Get sleep. That means also eat right. That also means go to therapy. That means go to your coachings, go to your counselings, talk it out, give yourself breaks, times to recoup and recover. Okay? That's that number. That's how we protect our mind this year. All right? Take your vitamin D. Make sure you got your hormones checked so you know what's going on in your body. Okay? Ginkgo biloba is an excellent herb to sharpen the mind, to balance the energy in the mind, both physically and spiritually. Okay? It will calm you, balance your mind. It will increase the blood flow. So it also may mean you may get horny. But the point of the matter is, okay, get you some ginkgo biloba. Okay? Get you some sandalwood essential oil. Okay, all of that helps with the mind. Rosemary also helps to clear the mind and promote focus. Okay, so if the ginkgo biloba you can't get you some rosemary. Okay, and get the mind right. Okay, that's how we protect our mind. How we protect the body. First, stop hanging around people you know that aren't safe people. Stop having sex with people that you know aren't safe people. Stop sleeping with people you don't trust. Stop being around folks you don't trust. Be mindful of the situations you put yourself in. Keep your awareness about you. When you leaving out of your home, leaving out your apartment, take the headphones off. Listen to what's going on around you. Okay? Don't be distracted in this season. Get you some weapons. Let me tell you something. My sisters will tell you they had some issues with the father of their children, the fathers of their children. And I immediately got them weapons. Shock that nickel. Hit him on top of the head. Okay. We don't want it to get to that because I know we're in this number 9 injury. But you got to have your weapons ready just in case. Okay. You just got to be ready. We don't want to use them, but get your weapons. Okay. Get your alarm system. Lock your door. Stop playing games, leaving your door unlocked. Lock your doors. Double check your car doors. Okay. Secure your home. Don't play these reindeer games. If you know, pay attention to your intuition. If you start to feel something's off, just leave. Just go. Don't try to wait and find out, and then you're going to fuck around and find out. Just leave. Okay? By the time you figure out what it is, it'd be too late. Protect the body medicinally. Make sure you take your medicine. Make sure you take your vitamins. Make sure you're eating correctly. All right. Movement. Keep the body moving. Keep it hydrated. Keep it detoxified. Okay. Get into your herbs that cleanse the body. Get into your herbs that protect your immune system. Get into the herbs that preserve you. Okay. Invest. Hold up. Back to the danger. Invest in a Ring camera. Invest in a dash cam. Okay. Do the thing. Don't just be answering the door. Don't answer the door to people that's not invited. They ain't talked to you, ain't called you for it. We not answering the door in this season. Sorry, door-to-door salesman. We not answering the doors. We not. Yeah, that's it. Leave a note. And also, like I said, having sex with people you don't trust. You got to be mindful of the hookups. I know we're in a different culture. We all grown here. We got to be mindful of the hookups. Make sure it's people that you trust or that it feels well in your spirit. Okay? Danger. Okay? You're going to be very mindful of that. So now you know when it comes to protecting yourself spiritually. That means you're making sure that you are spiritually fortified. You do your cleanses. You burn your sage, your palo santo, your you put your salt down. You do your angelica root. You do your asafoetida. You do your black pepper. You do your spiritual work for protection. You may want to use some Florida water. If you make your Florida water, whatever you use to cleanse, to anoint, to protect your doors. Here's the other key. Don't just cleanse and protect your home. Cleanse and protect your car. Remember, number 9, accidents, right? Go and get some High John the Conqueror root. Okay, you can get it from a Botanica. You may find on Amazon too. And put that in your car. Make a mojo bag with protective herbs and prayers that you feed and you pray into every Sunday. Okay, and you keep that in your vehicle and in the vehicle of you and yourn. Okay, take some efun, some cascarilla, and go over the wheels. Okay, your wheels gonna be looking ashy, but we're gonna have it protected and covered. Okay, that's just it. Okay, they're like, what the powder donut wheel? There's some cocaine wheels. Whatever it is, it's covered. Okay, work your vehicle. Keep a protection prayer in your car. If you are a Bible reader, open up your Bible to Psalms 91. Psalm 109. Psalms 91. Keep that open. Put that scripture, write that scripture down, fold it up, and put it in your car. Anoint your car. Pray over your car. Okay? Keep a mojo bag with you if you do transportation. Keep that. You're taking public transportation. You're taking Ubers, right? You're taking the bus. You're taking the train. Put that High John the Conqueror root in your pocket. Keep a mojo bag on you. Okay? You want to do that. Your prayers, your protection prayers. When you're praying over your food, you're blessing your food. Okay? Blessing the food is very important. Bless your food. Don't let any hurt or harm come to you by way of this food. Sometimes you can get people's negative energy. My mother would say, I'm not going to eat that food because you was upset making it. And so you're going to make my stomach upset. You don't know what you getting all this fast food. These 16-year-olds pissed off. They got to be working at Chick-fil-A and Whataburger and McDonald's and all that. The Raising Cane's, honey, your stomach going to be upset. Okay. So bless your food. Pray over your food. Make sure you get your affirmations. You have all that together. All right. And a very easy practice, and this is what I'll employ you to do, is practice visualizing an energy shield. So in your prayer time, before you go into a space, whatever, envision that there is an energy shield around you. It could be white, red, black, whatever it is you want, as a bubble around you, and believe it. And guess what? You ain't got to see, like, I can't see it with my mind's eye. Set the intention that there is an energy shield around you and that it is impenetrable by energies that you do not welcome or by energies that mean harm to you. And you can strengthen that shield by adding that to your meditation, your daily meditation. Every day, strengthen that shield, and you'll see it'll get better and bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger to the point where people just go the other way. They won't even have conversation with you. They won't even start with you because you have set up yourself, actually, as nerdy and geeky as it sounds, an energy force field around you. Okay, that's it. Okay. Keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself well with your spiritual practices. All right. And because this energy of 9 can be malicious, can be cruel, can be vindictive, that makes people prone to doing crazy things with energy work, with spell work, okay? Hexing people, jinxing people, okay? Or evil eye, right? Because this is in that energy. So your protection work got to be first. If you ain't got, if you like, Darcel, I need a big old shebang. If you go to the link that's in the description, it'll take you to the theinnerlighthouse.store, okay? And what you want to do, let me share my screen so we could go ahead and take a good look at it. You can go right over here, right here, okay? And then you can go to the Conjure Kitchen. When you go to that Conjure Kitchen, there's some recipes here. There's some Waymaker, head lifter. The Waymaker, I just had a client message me. She used it twice and got her money she's been waiting on for the past 6 months, okay? And also she got the job she needed. Everything's happening, okay? So you want to do that Waymaker working. But this, the cease and surrender, you're going to want to do this. This cease and surrender is exactly what it says. It will bring the harm to a cease. If you have someone that's trying to harm you, it will bring it to a cease. Okay? So you want to do this. Facing persistent conflict, hostility, being targeted by harmful intentions, individuals suspecting malicious or manipulative behavior, people undergoing bullying, harassments, or threats, anyone seeking protection from psychic or spiritual attacks, individuals wanting to end a toxic relationship or connection, people needing a strong defense boundary. That is it. Cease and surrender right in the Conjure Kitchen. You'll get the recipe for that. Then also to mind your business. You feel that there's somebody who's trying to spy on you spiritually, trying to read on you, do all types of stuff on you that you did not give them the permission to do. Go ahead and get that mind your business. Okay? This will block, sever, and also send a bitch a headache. Okay? That's trying to dive into your energy that should not be in your energy. All right? And so you will learn how to do that. And there's so much in there, and it's the whole working there. So I would recommend that. Also, you can click readings and services. And if you're like, Darcel, I need the personal numerology report, you can book that. If you need a reading, group work consultation, like Darcel, I need you to do it. We can do that. Okay. The point is, this energy this year is both powerful, is very impactful. We can bring an end to a lot of foolishness, step into a new version of ourselves. And with this endings, I want you to welcome change. This is a year that begets you to change your mind about some things. So if you have been holding a position that you no longer hold, if you've been disliking somebody and but the feeling isn't there and you feel like you got to change that, do it. You have the right to change, to bring an end this year. If you want to start practicing something else, if you want to go back to doing something you used to do, if you want to go back to church, go back to church. If you want to do and step into this practice, step into that practice. Okay? Be comfortable, be fine, and make the choice to put an end to some of the things that you no longer want to do or no longer resonates with you. That's what this energy is about. Okay? And also that humanitarian energy helps somebody. Help somebody. If you can, help so that you can be helped when you need it. And Protect yourself, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. But the beauty is this will bring about the transition of this next year, which would bring us into a new overall universal energy. Be reflective over these past 9 years. Where were you at mentally, physically, spiritually in 2016? Where were you located? Whose home was you in? What relationship were you in? What habits developed at that time? This is the completion, and this 9 is fulfillment. So things that come to an end, you must trust and know that it has fulfilled its purpose. This is also a year where job fulfillment, right? Where career fulfillment, where goals are reached that you've never reached before. So this year will be what you make it. This year will be what you align with in that number 9 energy. Okay? Are you going to align with the completion? Or are you going to align with the foolishness? That's going to put you in another cycle, another 9-year cycle going into next year. Okay? And then that takes us 2034 before you get it together. And we can't deal with that. So get it right and get it together now. So let me go ahead and close us out with a good old prayer. Y'all like my setup here? We're shifting to a whole nother energy. We'll be talking about that later. But let's pray. Let's all start with the breath. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Good. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Another time, deep breath in and breathe out. Divine source, divine spirit, divine mother, we first say thank you for another chance to get clear, to tap in, to get information that will lead us to the furtherance. Spirit, with our hearts and our minds and our energies open, we receive that which will propel us forward. Spirit, we pray and demand that anything, anybody, any circumstance, any relationship, any habit, any ways of thinking be brought to a necessary end. Let nothing continue with us this year that is not propelling us forward, that is not wellness centered, that is not helping us. Spirit, we bring an end to financial worries, financial struggles. We bring an end to suffering in the mind, in the body. We bring an end to confusion. And Spirit, we align ourselves with fulfillment, with the path of fulfillment. Let there be a moving prayer this year, Spirit, an energy of now. Now meaning no obstacle winning. Now, Spirit, let that be a walking, running, sprinting, flying prayer. Let that energy be like electricity, that no obstacle wins in this season and no opportunity is wasted this year. We're going to take full advantage of our time, of our energy, of everything that comes along, that comes in conjunction, that comes in connection with us. And Spirit, the prayer and the desire is that you will assist us in doing that. We pray to take full advantage of this intuitive nature of this number 9 energy and this number 11 personal year of this country. Let there be no hurt or harm that come to us underneath this administration, Spirit, but let there be awakening and alignment and clarity on our part. We not only bind, we disrupt and destroy any energy, any ill intention by a government, by an institution, by an authority figure that seeks to do harm, that seeks to limit, that seeks to diminish the people. Spirit, we put an end to that now. We then invite in the ideas, the revelations, the clarity that is necessary for the reinvigoration of ourselves, for the rejuvenation of ourselves, that we are stepping into this year, into next year. Spirit, prepare us for the next 9 years. Give us the wisdom, the insight, the wellness, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and the confidence to move forward in the way that we know how. And Spirit, if there are ways we need to move that we don't know, let you be a divine teacher, a divine informer. Send an ancestor, send energy, send a friend, send a teacher, send a stranger to help us with the alignment, with the furtherance, with the prosperity and the growth and development that we need. It is in the divine name of all that is. We say, it is so, and so it is. All right. Oh, now not get stirred up. So take the information that you got today and do something with that. Teach somebody, help somebody. Don't let the wisdom and the knowledge fall on deaf ears. Do what it is you know that you need to do to align yourself with this energy so that you can get the benefits. Okay? So you can get the benefits. I love you all. Light and progress to you. Get rest, get sleep, do the playback, share it, whatever you need to do. And I'll see you all in a couple of days. Peace, everybody.